So, welcome to our lesson 6, week 7, another reading activity entitled My Father Goes to Court. So, this is for May 3 to 8, 2021. So, My Father Goes to Court is a short story written by Carlos Bulosan. So, I decided guys na mag-record uli ng video because as our year goes on, I've met a lot of students who find reading difficult. So this is for them. Para naman kahit papaano, ma-appreciate nila itong story na to. Kasi alam nyo, napakaganda ng story na ito. Okay, I hope you'll find the story interesting also. So let us begin. Read with me. This story was narrated by a 4-year-old kid whose family lived in a small town in Luzon. His father's farm was destroyed by a flood. That was the reason why they preferred to live in a new place. They had a rich man neighbor, and the rich man's children rarely went outside. Their house was tall, where their family could watch the farmer's kids play outside their house. The rich man's servants were always cooking delicious food, like fried chicken, ham, and bacon. The farmer's family would always take a whiff of the heavenly essence of the rich man's food. Okay, so here, inintroduce sa atin ni Carlos Bulosan, our writer, ang ating narrator, who is a 4-year-old kid, and also the setting of the story. So, binanggit dito ang salitang Luzon, and I hope you're familiar with Luzon, of course. And sabi dito, so, nabiktima daw sila ng baha, kaya they decided to transfer residence. And it so happened na sinilipatan nila, may naging kapitbahay sila na mayaman. So, kagaya na nasa clip art natin, so may malaking bahay, and then they have a servant or a maid. And this maid daw always cook delicious food. Yung mga fried chicken, ham, and bacon na siguro pag Pasko lang natin natitikman. So, sa rich man, it is part of their daily meal. And then, look at this last sentence. Sabi dito, the farmer's family would always take a whiff of the heavenly essence of the rich man's food. So, meaning, habang naluluto o niluluto itong masasarap na pagkain ito, nabibiyayaan daw itong mga mahihirap nung amoy, ng mababangong amoy mula doon sa niluluto ng katulong ng mayaman. Let's continue. The narrator's family always bonds outside in the sun and bats in the river. They always had a good time and had a contagious laugh, and some people joined their bonding, while the rich man only watches them. So kung ang mahirap nakatingin sa mayaman, lalo na kapag oras na ng kainan, ito namang mayaman baliktad. Kapag daw nagtatawa na itong mga mahihirap, ang mayaman naman ang nakatingin sa kanila. So we can conclude na yung kanilang bahay ay talagang magkatabi. As days passed on, the rich man's family had a problem. The children became thin. The wife had a cough like the rich man. There was an opposite effect in the narrator's family. They became bright and healthy. Their sickness was not in the food, because their servants were always cooking something delicious to eat. After that, their house was always closed, but the aroma of the food was still drifted by the wind. So, habang tumatagal daw, nagkakasakit ang mga mayayaman, habang ang mahihirap naman ay nagiging malusog. Okay? Ang hinala nila, hindi sila nagkakasakit dahil sa pagkain kasi nga, lagi namang masasarap ang pagkain nila. At dahil laging masarap ang pagkain nila, so yung aroma o yung amoy ng pagkain ay lagi pa rin mabangong na amoy ng katabi nilang mahihirap. One morning, a policeman knocked on the door of the narrator's house. The rich man had a complaint against them because they were accused of stealing the spirit or essence of their food. So isang umaga daw, may kumatok na pulis dahil nagrereklamo ang mayaman. So ano yung nirereklamo? Nilagay natin, kinolored ko yan naka-highlight, stealing the spirit or essence of their food. Ang hininanakaw nila ay hindi yung pagkain, kundi yung aroma o yung spirit daw. So, yung amoy ng pagkain ang ninanakaw. When the trial came, the narrator's family came first. After a few minutes, the rich man's family came with the lawyer. Their body was so thin and they looked sick. The narrator's father didn't have any lawyer. He fought on his own. The trial starts. The lawyer questions the narrator's father. In the first question, the father did not agree that they stole the spirit of the wealth and the food. Okay, so napapunta na nga sila sa isang courtroom. And of course, dahil mayaman, naka-afford ang mayaman ng isang abogado. Samantalang ang mahirap, wala naman daw siyang abogado. So si tatay ang sumasagot sa lahat ng tanong. Sa unang tanong, hindi daw nag-agree si tatay na sila ay may ninanakaw. Okay? The father agreed in the second question, where he stated that their family hung outside the rich man's house and inhaled the food. He also agreed that when the rich man's family became sick, their family became strong and healthy. So, sa padalawa namang tanong, nag-agree daw si tatay na sila ay nandoon, kapag nagluluto si mayaman, nandun sila sa harap ng bahay, and then, inaamoy nila yung masarap na luto or masarap na food nitong mayaman. And eventually nga, nagkakasakit si mayaman, habang sila naman ay nagiging daw malusog. The rich man's children went in shyly. They were really thin and looked sick. When it was time for the rich man, the narrator's father was the one who questioned him. The rich man agreed that while their family was having fun, the rich man's family became worse and sad, and they also stole the spirit of their wealth. He also agreed that the farmer's family stole the spirit of their food by hanging outside their windows while their servants cooked the food. The narrator's father committed to pay the rich man. He took the straw hat and collected some centavo and silver coins around the courtroom. When the father was ready, he went to the rich man and shook the hat in front of the rich man. He asked the man if he heard the spirit of money, and the rich man agreed. In that case, the father told the man that he had already paid. After that, the case was dismissed. Okay, tingnan muna natin ito. So here, we have the word shyly. Anong ibig sabihin ng shyly sa Tagalog? So, nahihiya. Ang mayayaman daw ay nahihiya. Bakit sila medyo nahihiya nung tinawag sila sa courtroom? Kasi kabaligtaran na mahihirap, sila daw ay really thin and they look very sick. Okay? And then, ngayon, dahil wala ngang abogado itong si mahirap, si tatay ang nagtatanong doon kay mayaman. Tinanong niya ang mayaman at nag-agree naman ang mayaman na ano ba yun ng pinag-agreehan nila. Habang daw ang pamilya ay nagkakatuwaan, ang pamilya naman ng mayayaman ay nagiging masasakitin. At sila mismo, and they also stole the spirit of their wealth. So parang ang pag sinabi nating spirit, ano yung parang yung feeling, hindi mismo yung kayamanan. So parang ang akusasyon ng mayaman, ninanakaw na nga nila yung amoy ng pagkain, yung pagiging yung feeling na mayaman sila, ninanakaw din itong mga mahihirap, kaya daw sila ay lumalakas, lumulusog at sumasaya. Okay? He also agreed that the farmer's family stole the spirit of their food by hanging outside their windows while their servants cooked the food. So, ang hirap ng paratang ng mayaman. Ang ninanakaw ay yung amoy ng pagkain. So, sabi ng judge, o siya, sige, dahil ikaw ay napatunayang nagnanakaw mahirap, ikaw ay magbabayad. Kailangan mong bayadan itong si mayaman. So, ang ginawa ng tong tatay, nag-isip siya ng paraan. Pumunta daw siya sa bahay at gamit ang straw hat. Wala ako actually makita ang picture ito kasi sa Pilipinas lang merong ganito, no? Okay? Yung para mga lumang alkansya or sabihin na natin sombrero na gawa sa ano ba yun? Yung lumang sombrerong parang salakot. Yan. Kumuha daw siya ng mga pera and then silver coins at pagkatapos inalog niya ito sa courtroom. Sabi niya sa matanda, sabi ng father kay rich man, "Oh, narinig mo ba ang tunog ng pera? Ito yun oh, have you heard the spirit of money?" At sabi naman ni rich man, "Oo, narinig ko." So sabi ni tatay, "Dahil narinig mo ang tunog ng pera, bayad na kami sa'yo." Okay, at anong nangyari? And the case was dismissed. The judge told the narrator's father the story where his uncle died because of laughing. The judge likes to hear the narrator's family laughing. The kid's sister started to laugh, and all of the people in the courtroom laughed, and the judge's laugh was the loudest of all. So dahil nanalo, itong mahirap, sa kanyang pagiging matalino, sa kanyang pagiging matalino sa pakikipag-argue. So itong si judge, sabi niya, alam mo, may tito ako na ano daw, na namatay dahil sa katatawa. Eh, sabi ni Judge, gusto kong marinig itong paratang ng mayaman na masaya kayo, na kayo'y nakakahawa ang inyong tawa. And so, nagtawanan daw sila. At pagkatapos, ang tawa nitong ating judge ang pinakamalakas sa lahat. So, dito parang very symbolical itong ending ni Carlos Bolosan, Okay? So, I hope, actually, what we've read is a very short na nga synopsis, pero parang short summary of the selection. Mas maa-appreciate nyo sana yung kwento kung nabasa nyo yung original text. But because it was very long, so ang ating author ng ating module, pinaikli na lang nila. So after understanding or reading our selection, you're going to answer learning test 1. How is the narrator's family different from the rich man's family? Ano daw ang pagkakaiba nung pamilya ng ating nagkukwento ng batang 4-year-old doon sa mayaman? Magbibigay ka daw ng 3 characteristics. So you can find the answers directly stated from our selection. So guys, doon sa ating previous lesson in about poetry, may mga tanong din tayong sinagutan doon, and I think that is learning test 1 also. So, ang mga sagot doon ay directly stated from the text, meaning kokopyahin nyo lang mula sa tula. Okay? Marami sa inyo, or sa iba kong mga natsikan, parang gumawa sila ng kanila. So, hindi nila masyadong hit ang target. So, dito, kagaya ng tanong na number 1, ito, I believe, these are all directly stated from the text. So, hahanapin nyo lang sila dun sa selection and then kokopyahin nyo lang. Number 2, why did the rich man complain about the narrator's family? So, this is also presented in the selection. Bakit daw nagrereklamo itong mayaman? Ano ba ang nangyari sa kanila? Kaya nag-decide siya na magreklamo. Number 3, how did the narrator's family react to the rich man's complaint? Papaano naman tinanggap ng pamilya ng mga mahihirap ang reklamo ng mayaman? O sila ba ay lumaban? Sila ba ay nagpasasot? I believe it is also mentioned in the selection. How did the narrator's father pay the rich man? So, papaano siya binayaran daw? Paano daw binayaran ng ama itong mayaman? And number 5, if you were the narrator's father, would you have done the same thing he did to settle the trial? Explain your answer. Kung ikaw daw yung tatay, gagawin mo ba yung ginawa ng tatay? Mag-aalog ka din ba ng barya para masettle mo yung kaso? Oo at hindi, and then explain in siguro 1 to 2 sentences your answer. And this is 10 points. So, 10 points ito. Learning test 3. So, just like in the module that I gave you, I crossed out learning test 2. Hindi naman siya masyadong mahalaga. So, tinanggal ko na siya. Let us have learning test 3. To explore more about the short story's theme, look at the illustration that follows and answer the question. Write your answers on your paper. So, I believe itong word na theme, na-discuss ko na to sa previous videos ko. So, ang ibig sabihin niya, message of a selection. So, as we explore daw the message of a selection, look at the illustration and then answer these questions. What does the illustration suggest? Ano ba yung nakikita natin dito? So, we have hospital and an image of a house and then an airplane. So, what does this mean? Yun ang gustong itanong dyan. Number 2, how is it related to the story? Ano daw ang kaugnayan kaya nito doon sa kwento na binasa natin? Number 3, who among the characters in the story best symbolizes this picture and why? Sino daw ang nire-represent nito? Si mayaman ba o si mahirap? Bakit? Number 4, what Filipino belief or value can help address this issue and why? Ano daw yung paniniwala o kaugalian ng mga Pilipino na para makakasolve ng problema na ito? Okay, at bakit? And then as a student, how can you help make a change in this kind of situation? So kita naman natin hindi siya balance. So bilang bata daw, papaano mo daw mababago ang ganitong sitwasyon? And this is also 10 points. So we will move on to learning test for the most important part of our module dahil ito ay performance output, and as you can see, we have here 50 points. Tingnan natin kung ano pinagagawa. For your final test on a short bond paper, draw your preferred color illustration of the story you have read. Then explain in a short paragraph with at least 5 sentences as to why you believe that this best illustrates the whole idea of the story. You may use any medium for your output. Be guided by the criteria below. So, ang unang direction, magdodrawing ka. Kapag nakapag-drawing ka, ang sunod na direction, ipapaliwanag mo bakit yun ang napili mong illustration, bakit yun ang dinrawing mo, anong ibig sabihin niya. Okay? Tatanggalin ko na sana itong paragraph, kaya lang guys, may nakalagay sa criteria na content, knowledge of the story. So, doon natin makikita na unawaan mo ba yung kwento? Ano ba yung relasyon ng drawing mo doon sa kwento? And, kung may magtatanong, ma'am, kukulayan ba? Ito na sumasagot, design, color, and layout. So, kukulayan. Presentation, neat, and presentable. So, dapat maganda, hindi madumi. Yan na yun. Message, paragraph, content. So, bibigyan natin ng points. Also, itong isusulat niyong 5 sentences. And then, mechanics, spelling, and grammar. So, pwede tayong pakicheck natin ang ating mga spelling habang tayo nagsusulat. And again, this is your performance output for 50 points. So, what is a cover illustration? Siguro yatanong nyo, ano ma'am yung cover illustration? Ano yung idodrawing? So, cover art is a type of artwork presented as an illustration or photograph on the outside of a published product, such as book, often on a dust jacket, magazine, newspaper, tabloid, comic book, video game, box art, DVD, CD, videotape, music album, album art, or podcast. So, from the word itself, outside of a published product. So, ito yung nasa harap ng libro. Siyempre, alam naman natin, kapag maganda ang illustrations ng book, parang nakaka-interest siya, di ba? Nabasahin. Kapag masyadong plain, parang sabihin natin, pangit yan. So, based from the story, My Father Goes to Court by Carlos Bulosan, ano daw ang idodrawing mo na cover art or cover illustration ng librong yon? So, here are some examples. So, tingnan nyo yan ha. Yung nag-drawing, kung magaling ka mag-drawing, pwede kang mag-drawing ng kasinla kanya kay Harper's June. Kung hindi ka naman masyadong magaling, daanin mo na lang sa kulay, kagaya ni Breakside. And then, this one, kung matyaga ka, kagaya ni Motor Insurance, ang dami niyang dinrawing na tao. So guys, again, linawin ko ang hinihingi natin ditong skill ay drawing. Hindi kayo maghahanap sa internet tapos i-print at ikakapit, hindi. What you're going to do is to draw. So maglalagay talaga tayo ng effort dito. Anyway, ang atin naman task pinaliit ko na learning task 1 and then learning task 3 tayo for our quiz. And also, kasama si assessment, which is 5 points. So we have 25 na sa quiz. Nakalagay dito, which of the two families in the story do you want to belong? Alin daw ang gusto mong maging? Gusto mo bang maging mahirap? Gusto mo bang maging mayaman? 5 reasons why. So ito guys, ang question na ito very personal. Hindi yan kinukuha sa selection. Ikaw mismo ang sasagot. Bakit mo gusto maging mahirap? Bakit mo gusto maging mayaman? Yun ang ibig sabihin yan. And then, our insights. So on your paper, write your insights about the lesson during the prompts below. So guys, ito talaga binabasa ko tong part na ito ha. Marami sa inyo nagkakatalo dito. Parang ang iba nilalambang lang ito. Pero this is 5 points, kaya hindi nyo dapat lambangin. I have learned that, ano yung natutunan ko, I would like to know more about, ano yung gusto ko pang malaman, and I enjoyed blank. Alin yung part ng selection or part ng module na na-enjoy ko talaga. So, eto na, module was prepared by Ma'am Abizamis ng Tayabas City and Ma'am Rubia, the head teacher 3 of Tayabas City also. And of course, the PowerPoint presentation was made by yours truly. So, that's all. Maikli lamang para lamang maging guide ninyo in answering lesson 6. So, kung mga tinatamad magbasa ng mag-isa, edi manood ng video para kasama nyo ako nagbabasa. That's all. Salamat po. God bless.